Hey guys, and welcome to this tutorial for the Advanced Locomotion V4 with Advanced Jigsaw and Venturi multiplayer example. So I'm going to use 4.24, but it should work with the 22, 23, 24 plus. So I already went ahead and added the Advanced Jigsaw and Venturi to the ALS project here. So you just click on Add Project here. And then you can look for your project and then add to project, and you should have the Jigsaw and Venturi system here. So in this tutorial, we will try. I'll try to make or touch on everything pretty much. So or like as much as possible. We'll make the weapons swapping or switching work. Also a rifle state, pistol state, damage, loot box, etc. So if we can squeeze everything in one video, then I'll do another part, but we will be covering everything, hopefully. So this is Advanced Locomotion V4, as you can see. So let's go ahead and start merging Jigsaw with this ALS V4. So as you can see here, well, first of all, you want to go to the world settings here. If you can't see it, it's on settings right here, and then world settings, and then here you can set your game mode, pawn, etc. So we can see here that they have a game mode here, default pawn, and then player controller. So three things. So we will not be copying anything. What we're going to do here is reparent our Jigsaw classes to the ALS. So this is the easiest way to merge like two blueprints together. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll start with the game mode. So we can click here, check out the game mode, see if there's anything there. Open full blueprint editor, and seems like they don't have anything going on in here. So we have, well, in our example here, if I click here and lose TPMP game mode child, see if I can click here and try to find it, and we can just reparent it. So it already has a parent class of TPMP game mode, so we want to find that. So TPMP game mode, let's see if I can find it real quick. So TPMP game mode, so this is child, this is game mode, this is what we want. This is the game mode that has the function for like the unique ID and whatnot for the multiplayer example. But what we want here is we want to go to class settings. Remember, it's TPMP game mode, not child, just TPMP game mode. And the parent class is the default game mode base. So we want to change that to the ALS game mode actually. So ALS, not base character. We want the ALS base game mode. That will be our parent class for TPMP game mode. So one other thing, so let's see, there's no begin play, there's nothing, so we should be good here. So that's the first part. So now our TPMP game mode inherits from, or like TPMP game mode child inherits from TPMP game mode, and TPMP game mode inherits from ALS game mode. It's not very important, you could just change the game mode, but in case you used it for anything, let's just go ahead and change the parent class. So we will be doing the same thing for the character and player controller. So player controller. So player controller is TPMP player controller. We want to click on this icon right here, find it in the content browser, go ahead and open that. So we'll be doing the same thing, class settings, and then parent class is going to be the ALS player controller. So one very important thing you need to do whenever like you change the parent class is that you need to make calls for the parent functions. So for example, begin play, we need to call the parent begin play as well, because otherwise we'll be overriding it and preventing the parent from doing the like executing their begin play. So what you need to do here is, if you have a begin play, now of course it applies to event tick as well, event construct, So this is TP-MP player controller. After changing the parent class, you want to right click on event begin play here and do add call to parent function. So this way we will also call the begin play of the parent first, then we do whatever we need to do here. So I don't think we need this part right here, so this is just a help widget. Let's go ahead and disconnect that, and this is what we need. You want to do the same thing for construction script right here in the blueprint tab. Right click on construction script and do add call to parent function. And you want to see if you have anything else, any event tag or any like event possess or anything like that, and you want to do the same thing. So that should be fine. The next thing is class defaults. You want to expand every category and look for anything that is like different from the parent class. So for example, as you can see here, player camera manager, you see here this arrow right here that pointing to the left side. That means that it's different from the parent class, and we want to make sure that they both are the same, you know, as a start, so make sure everything is working. But ALS system V4 uses a camera manager. So just to show you, if you open the let's see, ALS player controller, display controller, if you go to class defaults, you can see that for player camera manager they have ALS player camera manager set, but in our TP-MP player controller we don't have it. So the easiest way to set that is to simply click on reset here, and as you can see, it sets it based on what the parent class has. So yeah, so this is ALS player controller, and this is our TP-MP player controller. So let's go ahead and expand every category here, making sure that we are on the same page as the parent class. So that should be fine here. Compile, no errors. We should be fine here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump to the TP-MP character. We're going to do the same thing. These warnings are for the inputs, but we're not going to use any inputs in this character. Everything is handled by ALS system. So basic movement right here, go ahead and delete that. We don't need it. These two, well, interface events are important, but damage and loot box spawn, it depends on what you want. I mean, you can remove it, but if you need this basic line trace BP for damage, you can use that, or you can delete it if you want. But let's go ahead and click on class settings right here. Very important. First thing, of course, is changing the parent class to the ALS animman, not the base anim. I mean, we could use the base basically, but let's just go ahead and use the ALS animman character BP. So same thing, whenever you use something, these events right here will override the parent equivalent functions basically. So what you want to do here is you want to right click here, well, not convert, add call to a parent function. So calling the parent first, then doing whatever we need to do. So there you go. Okay, same thing for any begin play events. No, we don't have a begin play here, but we do have a construction event. If you get a bunch of errors, that's probably it. So right click on construction script, add call to parent function, and we'll make the call for the parent first, and then we'll do whatever we need to do here. Compile, see if we have any errors. We don't have any errors. These blue components are coming from the parent, so basically it means that they belong to the parent class. Since ALS uses a camera manager, we will not be needing the camera or the camera boom or follow camera, so let's go ahead and remove those. After removing the camera boom and camera follow camera, you will get some errors here. So click on compile, and in compile results you want to click on target. Will lead you directly where the error is. So instead of get world location, we will use the get player camera manager, and we'll get the get camera location. So we will be replacing that. So these two, so a quick tip or a quick trick, if you want to move these this entire node right here, you can just hold Control and drag. So you'll drag it right, like both wires basically at the same time. So that saves you a little bit of time. So copy paste here, and this time we want to get the rotation. So get let's just go ahead and do camera rotation right there. And from the rotation, we want to get the forward vector, and we want to place it right there. Probably copy paste this because we'll need it here. Okay, so copy paste all of them, or 3 nodes, and use it here instead. There you go. So if we compile, we should be fine here. Okay, so now the same thing. Same thing for class defaults right now. I'm gonna go ahead and expand every category, that anything that is different from the parent class will change. So what do we have here? Use control, click on this to set it back to the parent value. AI controller, click here. Just go ahead and expand this, making sure that we don't miss anything. Tags, there you go. What's this? ALS camera, or like character. I think this one is very important for the camera manager to work. So make sure that you set it back to whatever the parent class has. Expand this, should be fine here. Expand all this. I think we should be fine here. These are values of the parent class. So yeah, we should be fine here. So lastly here, and the TP MP character is of course the mesh and the anim BP. Let's go ahead and scroll up. Instead of SKey mannequin, we want the oh, I don't remember the name. Hold on. Blueprint. Okay, here we go. So what do they have here? Anim man. That's what we want. So anim man, and of course the anim class is ALS anim BP. Go ahead and compile, and now we can give it a try and make sure that everything is working fine. So we can run, sprint, jump. Okay, hold on. Oops. So we can't crouch, probably. Change the camera, fine. It's fine. Sprint, jump. Do this. All right. We probably can't vault. Let's give it a try. Well, we can, but if we have a backpack, I think we wouldn't be able to. But we'll fix that later. Okay. Venturi is fine. Okay. And no errors. All right. So we have no errors. That's pretty nice. So what we're gonna do here, of course, is add some weapons, some pickups, and see if we run into any issues. Okay, one more thing though before we move forward is the crouch. Like, why I can't crouch. So something is blocking the crouch input. So we'll investigate that right now. Go into the player controller here. See if we have any... Obviously, the easiest way to debug this is to simply set the character. So instead of TP MP character, we'll set the whatever we call ALS anim man. See if we can crouch with this character. All right, so with this one we can crouch, but with TPMP we can't. So TPMP, it's probably something with the movement component, something that we did not set. Okay. So going back to the TPMP character, and it's probably just something related to the character movement. As you can see here, we did forget this. So make sure that you set everything back to the parent class. So we're like basically on the same page. Let's see, like that, like that. Let's probably something about like can crouch. Click on these arrows to expand. All right, same thing here. All right, so hopefully we can crouch after this. Otherwise, we'll just keep investigating. Movement capabilities. All right, so there you go. Can fly well. I mean, fine. Here we go. So can crouch. That's why we couldn't crouch. And I think we should be fine here. All right, so compile, save, and making sure that we have default pawn class is TP-MP character. Go ahead and play, and there you go. Now we can crouch. There you go. So, like I said, the second part is let's go ahead and add some pickups and make sure that we can attach weapons, backpack, etc. to the character correctly. And if not, we'll copy certain sockets and see what happens. All right, so going to the jig inventory folder, go into examples, simple pickups, static mesh. We'll start with containers. Backpack 2, why not? All right, so it seems like they went through the floor for some reason. So what we're going to do is go to Jigsaw Inventory folder, go to System, and then Pickups, I think, Pickup System, and then Stat M main pickup class. And you want to go to Class Default, select the main static mesh. Let's see why this is going through the floor. Well, first of all, we want to make it like ignore the climbable. So let's go ahead and make it ignore climbable. That could be it, honestly. So ignore climbable. So you want to do the same thing for skeletal. I think we have one skeletal pickup here. So pickups. Simple pickups, skeletal mesh, and we have that skeletal rifle. So you just want to make sure you want to select skeletal mesh right here. Go to collision. If I can find it, here we go. So climbable, you want to make it ignore climbable. And now for okay, now going through the ground issue. Let's see. So we select this. I think the reason is because this is set as dynamic. So you can select this, for example, and go to collision here, if I can find it. Okay, it looks like I can. So what we're gonna do here is it's set as it's a blueprint actually. Simple object builder. Interesting. Static mesh, collision here, and it is okay. Hold on. Okay. So it's a world dynamic. That's why. So you can either like do here instead of collision preset block all, you can do custom, and you can change this from world dynamic to world static. So by changing it to world static, as you can see, they're not gonna go through the ground. I don't see why they're set as world dynamic, but if you really need this to be dynamic, world dynamic, you can then go to the pickup class, and then you want to make it block world dynamic here. So it's set to ignore world dynamic. You can just set it to block world dynamic. So if we go ahead and play, you're going to notice that it doesn't work, as you can see. And the reason behind that is the line trace that we have on our component. Like I said, the ALS system doesn't use it uses a camera manager, and that's what we need to use for our line trace. So you want to find the player controller class here. Let's go ahead and open that up, and then MPEjig component. Right click here and click on edit MPEjig component, and then the scan. I think okay. So you want to look for the scan for items function, and so we will not be checking for camera reference. We're actually going to do like camera manager. instead. So we'll use that instead. Let's go ahead and Control C, Control V. All right, so instead of this one, instead of like getting the world, location, and forward vector from a camera component, we will get it from the camera manager, which ALS V4 uses. So get camera. Now once again, this is an MPEquip component scan for items function. So we'll get the location right here, and this works for third and first person. Once again, same trick, hold control and drag both of them to this one. Go ahead and delete that. We need the forward vector, so we will be getting the rotation this time. So get rotation, and from this rotation we will get the forward vector. So get forward vector, and we'll use it right here instead of this one. Let's go ahead and delete it, and I think we should be fine. Hold on. So camera, right click, find references. Let's see where it's used. So it's only used where we set it. So since we don't really need it, we'll just leave that for now. So let's go ahead and try. Let's go ahead and click all, close all these tabs. So close tabs to right. Go ahead and play. Maximize, and we should now see this pop up, even if we are in first person or third person. Okay, so as you can see there, that's just a socket issue. But what I want to make sure here is that we can climb or a vault. So as you can see, even though we have a backpack, it doesn't prevent us from going over objects. So now what we want to do is obviously copy the sockets from the TPMP character mesh, the old mesh, to the ALS mesh. So let's go ahead and go to the Jigsaw and Venturi system, I think. Okay, maybe in examples. Yes, it's examples, probably. Multiplayer example, character, mannequin, character, mesh. And you want to open the UE4 mannequin skeleton. So you want to look for all these sockets right here, rifle socket. So hold control and select all of these sockets right here. So rifle, pistol, melee, backpack, rifle holder, pistol, etc. I think that's all we got. Yes, I think so. Yep. Alright, so then you want to right click here and do copy selected sockets. Right, that's pretty much it for the first part. And the second part is you want to go to, you can just access it from the TPMP character. There you go. Click on mesh. To find this quickly, you can just click on here. So skeletal mesh, click on this icon to browse to the location of the anim man. You want to open that, and then here in the skeleton tree, you want to right click here and do. So there are two options for paste. So there is paste sockets and paste sockets to selected bone. Now you want the first option, paste sockets. So after doing that, we should have all these sockets right here. All right, so go ahead and save, close the, we have to apply it. Sure, let's go ahead and do okay. And let's go ahead and play and see if we can actually attach these items. As you can see, everything attaches just fine. Same thing for this one. Obviously, different mesh, different sizes, but basically, essentially it's working. Let's see. Weapon number 2 is fine. Let's see. Apple. Let's go ahead and pick up everything pretty much. Just see if it works. Okay, our character rotates just fine. Perfect. Okay, that's pretty nice. Alright, so it seems like it's working just fine. So we can pick everything. Everything seems to be working just fine. So one more thing is switching weapons. So we are enabled to switch to primary, secondary, etc. So we need to handle that. And so what we need to do is we need to go to the Jigsaw and Venturi, into examples, multiplayer, character, mannequin, animation, and we have, I think we have a montage here. I should be able to find the montage, but the quickest way, of course, is to just go here to the player controller, open TP-MP player controller, MPEjig component, edit MPEjig component, and you can do Control F and look for montage and hit enter, and then we should have a play montage. So now this is, as you can see, it's hard coded there, so we should have an option for that though. So what we need to do here is click on this icon here, browse, to find the montage. So this is the folder, so it's in Jigsaw and Venturi, examples, assets, animations. So we have two, oh, we have one. This is just, we don't need that, I don't think. So MPEquip Montage is what we need, and we need to retarget this one to the ALS character. But before we do that, I'm gonna click here, right click on this montage to play, and once again just Control F, look for montage, and you should find this play montage right here. You double click on it, it will take you to this play montage node, and then you want to right click here and do promote to variable, and then we're going to call it we'll call it switch weapon, and then we'll click on this eye right here to make it public, and then we'll go to the details panel, and we're going to click on I don't think we need to click on expose and spawn, but we will change the category here to animation. So compile, then save. Now going back to TP-MP player controller, you should click on MPEjig component, and we should have a section called animation, and in there we can set the yeah, there you go, we can set the montage. So we're gonna click right click here on this MPEquip montage, and then we'll select retarget anim assets, duplicate anim assets and retarget. That's what we want. We want to retarget it to the ALS mannequin skeleton, making sure that it's the same. So it seems like they have different sizes, but we'll see if it works. It's fine. So nope, I want to rename. So ALS mannequin skeleton, but they do have the same pose and everything. It's probably just a scale issue. So change, I'll put it, it's fine, I'll put it there, and then retarget. Alright, so let's see if it works. Okay, seems like it's working just fine. Alright, so a very important thing in this montage, well, let's go ahead and rename it first. So call it ALS underscore MPEquip Montage. So that's what we're going to use instead. So this is our ALS MPEquip Montage. So the next step is making sure that this montage is played on the anim BP. One other thing is make sure that you do have this equip weapon notify here. If I can access the name, but anyway, this is the equip weapon. Make sure that it's here. So just drag it back here. So we don't have upper body, do we? No, we don't. So that's a V3 thing. All right. So the way montages are played in a anim BP is by using slots, and this is a slot right here. So you can create like custom slots right here. So if you go to the right side here, you have anim slot manager, and you can add a new slot. So you can call it whatever you want. And with Jigsaw, I have this equipment slot. So this is what we're going to use. So if you want to use a new slot, that's fine. Let's go ahead and do that actually. So add slot, we'll call it upper body. So we're going to try to blend the upper body of this montage with the ALS animation, so you can like run around and swap weapons at the same time. I'm gonna click enter, and there you go, upper body added, and we'll use it here. So we'll use upper body. There you go. So default group upper body. So now what we need to do is go to the animation BP of the ALS mannequin. So click on here, TPMP character, mesh, and then here anim man, and we're going to go to animation tab. Well, not animation, actually to blueprint. So we got a lot of stuff here going on. We don't care about update graph just yet. We will later when we want to pull the active slot, so we can switch to another state such as rifle, pistol, etc. So we want to go to the anim graph. Alright, so we can like save a new animation state here. So let me select that. So I can like save this. Let's see, save cache pose. I can then name it something here, just final animation maybe. So final animation, and then we'll do use file. Okay, hold on. Use final animation cached, and then we'll blend it with the equipment slot. So let's go ahead, look for a slot, default slot right here, and then you want to change the slot name here to equipment or upper body. That's what we chose earlier. And what we want to do here is a layered blend per bone node, and we want to use this, copy paste here and use it here, and that's what we want to feed to the default pose right there. So select the layer blend per bone, go to the here to the details panel, layer setup, expand the 0 there. So branch filters, you want to add, click on the adds element, and then expand that, and then the bone that we're going to use to blend with the montage is, and I can go to the skeleton here, and we can use maybe spine 01 or 02. We can use 01 for now. We can experiment. So copy selected bone names and go back to the animation right here, well, blueprint, and then here instead of none you want to use spine 01. All right, let's go ahead and compile, and let's make sure that that's working. But before we do that, we need to go to okay, let's go ahead and close these things, right, and then slide that there. Now we want to go to the TPMP player controller, select the MPEquip component, and then here and switch weapon. Remember, this is the variable we exposed earlier, so we want to use the ALS underscore MPEquip Montage. That's what we're going to use. Go ahead and save, play, making sure our animation is working just fine. Select this one, select that one, and as you can see, it's working just fine. So we can switch between weapons, and see if we have a pistol. Here we go. Switch to the pistol, and there you go. So that's how you use montages with an animation, basically. So just blend in like the upper half with the lower half of the normal animation. So that is actually mostly it in terms of like merging Jigsaw with the ALS V4. As you can see, we can equip everything. We can vault, we can switch weapons. There's one more thing that we need to do, and is having a rifle state locomotion or a pistol locomotion. And we know that by using the active slot. So you want to go to the ALS anim BP here, and we can actually add another interface if we want. Let's see, player controller, player character. So player character, we have this get active slot. Well, this is a replicated variable, and this controls what active slot we have. So none means we don't have any weapon as the active slot, primary, then secondary, pistol, melee, etc. So we need to retrieve this value, use it in the ALS anim BP to determine what locomotion to play. Maybe an armed locomotion, rifle, locomotion, etc. So it's just a matter of retrieving that value and using it. So we want to be in the event tick, and then in the probably some function here that runs every tick. So that's initialized, we don't care about that. So it's casting to character. That's fine, we can add it to the interface. Alright, so the way we retrieve this active slot is we're going to use the interface of the Jigsaw and Venturi. So we'll go to system here, system, and then let's see, interface. There we go. So we have pickup interface. No, not that. Let's go back to the TP MPEcharacter, and then we'll go to the class settings right here, and we have MPEcharacter interface. So click on this icon right here, and then we'll see set active slot, and we need a get active slot. So we'll click on add new here, function, and we'll do get. We'll do IT just for interface here. IT underscore get active slot, and then this will return a output. We need a player slots right there, and then we'll just name it active slot. There you go. So go ahead and compile, and then now we'll return to the TP MPEcharacter, and then go to interfaces here, and then we should have an IT get active slot. There you go. So if for some reason, if you double click on IT get active slot and nothing happens, you can go back to the MPEcharacter and then close TP MPEcharacter, of course. Go back to the MPEcharacter interface. And maybe add the variable. So in the inputs, just click on add and just leave it new parameter, just to force it to be added basically. So compile, save, and then go back to the TP MPEcharacter, and then IT, so interface here, and double click, and you should be able to add it right here. For some reason, sometimes it bugs out because of an enum, I don't know. But yeah, if it happens, just add a new parameter until it works. So I'm gonna delete that, save, compile. So IT get active slot, and the MPEcharacter interface, it returns player slots variable. So close that, open TP MPEcharacter, and we will return the active slot there. Alright, so now that we have this set, now we can go to the anim BP, and that is inside of let's go to mesh, anim mannequin, click here, and then we can go to the blueprint here section, then go to the event graph and find the event tick of this anim BP. Let's see, update maybe. There we go. So we want this event blueprint update animation and player character info. It's probably what we want to use here. So update character info and get BPI, get essential values. Yeah, we can use it here. It's fine. So add another sequence here and update character info. You can just find it quickly, like update character info. Here we go. And then add a pin here, and then we'll use character, and then get active slots, or IT underscore get active slots. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click here, promote to variable, and we will call it player active slots. Oops. There we go. And then while we add it, just to make sure, we can print a string, and then we will print the active slot. And since this is in a tick event, let's just set the duration to 0, and then change the color, compile, and then save. And we want to make sure that it's working, so go ahead and play. As you can see, it says none on top left because we don't have any active, and now it says primary. at the bottom. That, well, we have multiple nuns because we have multiple instances running at the same time. It's changed to pistol, and now it says pistol, and then it says primary, secondary, and then pistol. So that's pretty much it. You want to use this to change whatever locomotion you want based on the active slot. So you have primary or secondary. That's probably a rifle. You can also like add another interface to get what kind of weapon we have. I might do other tutorials on that in future videos. So I think that's pretty much it for this part. I will be doing a second part where I explain how to use this value to play other locomotions, like a rifle locomotion or pistol locomotion. In case, like, it's super easy. You can like there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to use different anim states. You can even open my own animation here. If you go to Jigsaw and Venturi, examples, multiplayer, character animation, and then third person anim BP, you can see here that I'm using the same thing. Here you go. So it's same variable, primary, etc. And I'm using a blend pose on that enum player slots. And based on the value, I play the whatever locomotion I want. And I have these locomotions saved. So normal locomotion saved in here. And then I have a rifle locomotion here, or state machine if you want, and then I save it so I can use it here. So if it's primary, I use a rifle locomotion. Same thing with secondary, and same thing for pistol. So it's just a basic setup of like using different machine states or locomotions with a enum. So you can use the same concept that I have here in here, basically in your anim graph. So we already have like normal animation. You can then maybe run a, so here as you can see it's using the same thing here. Blend poses using the same thing. So it's an enum movement state, and it has two values. Well, it has multiple, but you can like right click here and add more. So you can add like let's see, yeah, so you can like right click here and add like non-grounded and airman. So you can add whatever you want. So I will be doing a part 2 in the future, but until then, I hope this tutorial been useful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below or send me an email if you want. So yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, until then, stay safe and see you around. Goodbye.